Antonia, I still remember the first time I heard your lecture. It was in Santorini on a conference, and I was so impressed with your presentation then that was talking about the difference between the eggs that are coming from the industrial eggs and the eggs that are from free range. And the difference between these two were 20, I still remember that slide that you had, 20-fold difference on the omega-3 content, which brings the entire concept of all your, your presentation about the I wouldn't call it diet. I agree with Cash completely, the healthy style. And I would also like to say, I don't know if you paid attention about the ladera. There was CNN report with the word ladera and how this is important for Mediterranean diet. One of the questions that I have for you is, though, you mentioned that the vegetables coming from Israel, from Morocco and everything, I have no problem, no issue with that. If they come from farmers, that's fine. The problem is with vegetables coming from Northern Europe, where they are from greenhouses and very industrial produced products. Would you agree with me on that, or?
Well, it's not only that, but in Greece we start producing vegetables this way because it's cheaper. I have no comments to my very friendly country like in Egypt, in Turkey, Israel, and so on. But the issue is that the core of sustainability and of the traditional feed is produced locally. And if we import vegetables, we do not serve biodiversity. For example, if you see another traditional foods in Greek next to the ladera is pita. Pita, it's a product which is produced with 150 wild greens. But in every part of Greece, they are collecting, depending on the climate, different vegetables. That's why we have to focus on the farmers market, because there we serve also biodiversity, and because there are 100 different wild herbs. Well, that's why I mentioned that I do not, and then it's, of course, it's miles to food. If you bring by plane vegetables from another country, or if you are using kilometers of traveling, what kind of sustainability you have? Okay.
Congratulations for your speech. Very interesting. Only I want to add in your description in the beginning of grace, there is oil and I don't remember exactly, oil, the first quotation that you made in, and what other things? Wine, but also sea. I remember that when I was for the first time to Greece, in the affiche that have the organization, the French organization, say, Greece is a sea with land. So, but this is one thing. But really the question is this: what is the reason that the young people not use the oil, or not so like in the past?
Because young people, they like to eat meat and French potatoes. And then at their home, the women, they do not pay attention, or not the women and the men, I mean, on the family level, we do not share food anymore. We do not have in common our meals. And then we have quick, the only way to cook very quickly is to have some French potatoes ready, fried in this seed oils or in this coconut oil, and palm oil more, not only coconut will be good. And then that's all. They do not know food. And to me, it's very dangerous. Now we do not have enough time to act, because they lose the taste of the traditional food. For example, I am sure that Stephanos, for example, or Vasilis or Tassos, even if they live in the United States, where they have always the smell and the taste of their childhood. I see that, what they cook, how they react. The current children, they will not have this memory, this experience, this taste. So this is the end of the Mediterranean diet, at least of the true Mediterranean diet, because still in Greece exists in some parts of the population.
Would you like to comment also on this? Because when I saw my first data on the sample of the students, showing that half of the students said not to consume regularly olive oil, I asked them, say, why? And they said that the reason are twofold. The first one is that most of the students now in Italy coming from other countries. We need to keep in mind this. So we need a lot of other immigrants or other generations. They do not have their tradition on olive oil. So this is the first one. So my family don't consume olive oil, so I don't consume olive oil. So this is the one of the problem. The other problem is the price. We need to keep in mind, because the person in Italy, in Greece also, do not consume extra virgin olive oil. We can talk by us saying extra virgin olive oil is better than virgin olive oil, but the person consumes mostly virgin olive oil. The person who can afford extra virgin olive oil can consume olive oil. And the students of normal family do not consume extra virgin olive oil. So they consume a mixed olive oil. Vegetable oil for frying, other vegetable oil for other things, and for regular consumption, probably sunflower oil. This is what the students replaced at my question.
Oh, yeah.
So I disagree, because young students now, they're looking forward to use olive oil, and especially extra virgin olive oil. And I am actually optimist, because right now the Catholic schools in New York, they gave us mandate, with the Leukomy Foundation, to speak to 129,000 kids. So there's hope. No, it's okay. No, I don't disagree with you. I disagree, in general, when they say that. And Antonia, we're going to continue what you have started. I promise that.
Any other comments on this? It is really a core challenge that we face. Did you have some comment about that? One of the issues is cost, that we do have to realize that in many countries, including the U.S., many people are struggling to put enough food on the table for their family the next day or even that day. And if you're really faced with just barely being able to feed people, and oftentimes people are making the decision between, should I get my medicine, can I afford my medicine or food, and having to make choices people shouldn't have to make. Given the choice of something that's for $3 versus $10, it's natural people will take the $3 choice. And so, someone mentioned the economics of this are important. Yes.
Working? Yeah, okay. So it's an interesting question, and our experience with the pandemic taught us a valuable lesson in the United States, because we saw the growth of olive oil soar. And it's not just people buying extra virgin olive oil. We saw big growth in refined products. So we did some research, and we found that it is people were appreciating or learning the value of olive. So the price remained the same, but the value that they put on health during the pandemic increased dramatically. And so they were willing to pay more. Now, we don't want to wish the world more pandemic. So there are other characteristics of olive oil that we know are very important and that people value very much, including sustainability. So this, I think, is an important lesson that we've learned. We need to educate the consumer about the values of olive oil, aside from, yeah, health, of course, very important, but not just health. It's so much more. Enjoyment, convenience, and sustainability.
I like to echo what Joe said, but first, Antonia, I can share this with you that 17 or 18 years ago, when I saw your presentation at Culinary Institute of America, you evangelized me at the time with your olive oil, that whenever you think you have enough olive oil, just put a little bit more, because you probably not have enough of it. and since then, you know, that has been a practice that we've been following up very much. And thank you very much for inspiring so many people across the industry. With respect to the cost of the olive oil, we don't buy olive oil in a quantity that the price differentiation is going to make really an impact in terms of the bottom line of how much food dollars we're going to be spending. The amount of olive oil that we're using in America is actually not a lot, and 1 liter per person per year is just not a lot. And making that to become 2 liters, the difference of the price is actually not that much. But I think more importantly, the conversation and communication that consumers are getting are so mixed. What oil is better for you? Which one is easier for you? Which one doesn't introduce additional flavor into your food? Oh my God, that extra virgin olive oil is actually too powerful for this particular recipe. I think we need to do a lot of work in terms of communication and literacy with respect to the olive oil and how best to use it. And I think what Joe said with COVID, a lot of people there looking at health benefits of olive oil in a very different perspective than it was pre-COVID. So I think we have the momentum on our side in terms of pushing the olive oil as much as we can.
But I think that for people outside the Mediterranean, we have to recognize that there are limitations. They might not like olive oil. I remember that in the United States, they want the olive oil to be without flavor, without color, and without taste. Well, that for us, you know, it's not understandable, but we have to respect. They are used to something different. But the only thing which you could do, if you want to promote the Mediterranean, the benefits of the Mediterranean diet, a healthy diet. Teach them to cook ladera and pitas. Teach them how to use the herbs and local herbs. There is no use. If you are in Scandinavia, you cannot, of course, import the 150 wild greens. Now they are in Crete available and they make fantastic pitas. But teach them to use the local, but use the idea of doing ladera. And I think that I didn't have the time and the means to work more on this cigariston, the start of the ladera, the mixing of onion, garlic, oregano, parsley. You know, at the end of the day, you don't need any supplement. You have all the minerals and vitamins you need in your day-to-day diet. You have analyzed day-to-day diet, and they fit perfectly the traditional Mediterranean diets. Because of that, with the recommendation of the World Health Organization and the European Commission. And on the other hand, try also to integrate this sense of locality and this sense of sustainability. And of course, for countries like Italy, like Spain, like Greece, like North African Mediterranean countries, and so on, this of belonging, this has been evolved through hundreds of years, if not thousands. If you go to the Santorini excavation, which was 1,500 before Christ, 1,000, you discover the same foods which they serve today in the restaurant, fava beans with onions.